Alright, what's going on everyone? My name is Nicholas Dennis and welcome to my channel. Now for those who don't know, I am in the Georgia Army National Guard and I am an MP, and pretty much I'll be going over on this channel a couple of military stuff, funny, some a little bit serious, but not serious where I'm going to get in trouble for speaking off about it. And I'm also going to be doing some video documentaries, my times at a gun range, my weapons of choice, and just overall time in being, one, in the military, and two, just being alive, just being who I am in civilians. But for this video, I'm going to talk about my time at BLC. Now, for those who don't know, BLC is the next step on becoming a leader. That's either being a promotable E4 for corporal or an E5 for sergeant. Now you get to BLC once you're done with DLC. Now DLC is the distributed leadership course, and that's pretty much after you become a specialist and they put you through that course, and it's pretty much online scenarios where you're going to be put in the boots of the said soldier that is now a sergeant and pretty much finding out the right solution to a certain problem. Whether it's talking about financial problems or talking about inventory and what happens if someone damages something that is supposed to be for you, but somebody else was using it. And you have to pretty much make the right call in certain situations. And every single action that you take, it will pretty much go and be either good or bad. And you have to have a percentage or mandatory percentage of passing. I think it's like 80. It has to be around 75 or 80. It's been a minute since I took those courses. But after you're done with DLC, then you have to wait until your unit can actually place you into a school. Now for some people in the National Guard, it's going to be a little bit tough, right? Because when it comes to the National Guard, you have very few slots open for soldiers, being a sergeant, because it's a big it's big in a sense of body count, but it's short in promotable people. So you could be a specialist for a long time, and that's only if there is only like one slot, but they already gave it to somebody else, and you have to once again be on the chopping block for the next runner-up. And then when you're all said and done and you get placed into a school, you have a couple of choices to go. You have one from, I think, South Carolina and Fort Blanding, or Camp Blanding. Camp Blanding is the one I went to, and every single camp is pretty much different. Me, it was pretty much okay because I'm in Georgia, so just driving down to Florida, it wasn't going to be that bad of a drive. Plus, it was my first time driving down there by myself. It's a little bit nerve-wracking because I never really do things on my own. I'm always with family. But I kind of treat it like it was going to basic training, or OSUT, down in Fort Leonard Wood. So when I got there, I made sure I was there a day early so I can just, you know, unwind, relax, take a one day in a hotel, and call up the small groups leaders, let them know that I'm nearby. I just want to know if it's going to be a problem if I bring my POV with me. They said since it's pretty much dorm rooms, I'm not going to have that much of a problem. All I got to do is find a parking spot and just stay in that parking spot, because I won't be able to get to my car unless they give me some time to go out off of post or on post and do my own thing, or just until graduation. Luckily, we got a couple of breaks within the 3 weeks. So when you first get there, you're going to just pretty much wait for everyone to arrive in mass. Some people are going to come in bus, some people are going to be coming from bus from the airplane or from the airport, and some of us are going to be there from driving. Now, a lot of people were there because they were already in Florida, because they live in Florida, and they're pretty much set in Florida. Unfortunately for other people like me, we had to drive or we had to take a plane down. So when a lot of people were getting there and starting to go inside that one building, the RTI building, that is when a couple of sergeants or staff sergeants come up and starts talking to us, giving us the rundown of what's going on. And they'll put you in a small line. You go down there, give them the name, information that they asked for, and then you're going to be put in another separate line, and then they're going to give you your dorm room, your room key, and the Wi-Fi password. Now once that's done, you're going to go right behind them, go inside a room, and you'll be confronted with height and weight, as well as your ACU, no, not ACU, my fault, ASUs, and making sure that everything is updated and everything's where it needs to be, or you make sure you have everything. So I didn't really need to worry about height and weight. I'm skinny, I'm still fit, I didn't need to get taped. So they just shushed me out of the room, and after my height and weight, I went back to my car, got my ASUs or my dress blues, still waiting on getting my pinks and greens, and went to the same room, and they laid out, I have to lay out everything, and they make sure that you had the right rank. You had your jacket, you had your long sleeve shirt, you had your trousers, you had your black socks, you had your shoes, and you had your beret. They also wanted to make sure that they asked you if your stuff has been already alterated, you have all your ribbons, and pretty much if you didn't have anything, it's not going to take you off of any kind of rewards, I would say, because you get the commandant's list, then you get the distinguished honor grad, or you just get the honor grad. They're not going to really count you off for any of that type of stuff. Just make sure that you have it before graduation day. And honestly, if you need something, I would say before going to that school, look on your iPerms and see what you have already on there. You don't want to go in there and having something that's not really in the system, but you have it on there. It's not going to look good on you or for you. As well as making sure that if you know somebody who just came from BLC, ask them, hey, what do I need to bring? What do I need for my dress uniform? And they'll definitely give you the information of what you need. Then after that, they put you in a nice little huddle around the, well, for us, National Guard tile floor, and they'll let you know about what the 3 weeks are going to consist of. They're going to tell you that this is literally day 0, and pretty much we have the rest of the day to do whatever we want. Go to the PX, go off base, get food, get what we need, and then the next morning, bright and early at 4:30 in the morning, we start the ACFT. Now my dog is barking for a second, so I'm going to go let her in, and I'll be right back. Now for some people who are just going into the military and want to know what the ACFT is, pretty much it's the Army Combat Fitness Test, and it got replaced with the Army Physical Fitness Test, which previously it was just push-ups, sit-ups, and 2-mile run. Now, we're not training our bodies at the highest capacity to sustain it for long periods of time when we're in the field. So they constructed this new combat fitness test to work on your endurance, your strength, your resiliency, and I think there was another one, I can't really remember what it was, but pretty much it's working out your entire body. So when you first go in, you'll do preparatory drills, which are like push-ups, different types of I guess workouts for legs, core, and arms all at the same time. And then you'll get ready to start with the first event, which is the 3 repetition deadlift. Now for this one, you'll be put in a hex bar, you'll be centered in, and pretty much you're just going to be using your legs and bringing them up to how much weight you have. You don't raise your arms or anything, you keep them like this, grab the bar, you come up with whatever weight you have, and you gently bring it back down. And you do that 2 more times. After that, they'll tell you you can step out unless you want to go up a couple pounds. You have the choice to do that. Now if you fail that, your previous weight or your previous deadlift is what's going to count. After that, it's the standing power throw. The standing power throw is pretty much a 10-pound medicine ball, and you have to pretty much chuck it right behind you. Some people use full force and they just say all you have to do is, in their words, throw the bitch. Some people do that and it works for them. It is operator choice. So that means do what is comfortable with you. For me, it's just getting that major technique down. You just gotta make sure with your age range that you can get it to the standard or exceed the standard. And then after that, you have the, I believe it was the hand release push-up. And there's nothing too crazy. Pretty much doing as many push-ups as you can, but there's a small twist. You start from the low ready, and then when they say begin, go up, come down, extend your arms like an airplane, bring them back. That counts as one. And you do that for about 2 minutes. Then we go to everybody's favorite, the sprint drag carry. Okay, now what can I say about this event? You're working out everything at this point because you're at a 25 feet rally. So you're running 25 feet in one direction, touching the ground, running back. Then you have a 90-pound sled and you're chucking it or you're dragging it 25 feet. Might seem good at the very first half of it, but once you get either halfway or more than halfway, and then you have to roll, you have to bring it around, then that's when you're really gonna be testing yourself, because your legs, if they're not already toned or they're not toned enough or they're not fit enough, it's gonna feel like jelly and you're gonna possibly fall down. All I can say is keep a good momentum and try to stay not too far back when you're dragging it, but give you that momentum to just keep on moving backwards. Once that's complete, you now have to do what we call laterals, which is just like side hops. A lot of people mess this up because they're not worrying about anything. They're not thinking, then they're not realizing that their legs are about to cross. Now when your legs start to cross, you're gonna fall and it's gonna eat up some of your time. So if you have to look down just to see where your feet are going, they don't say anything about that. But yeah, just making sure that you're going 25 feet that way, touching the ground, doing the same thing coming back. Then you have the, I believe, 40-pound kettlebells, and you're gonna have to speed walk or jog them some bitches another 25 feet and then 25 feet back, and then you have to finish it off with one more sprint to finish it. If I can give any tips for you guys and girls, please do not run at the initial sprint. Don't. You're gonna gas yourself out too quickly. This is a pacing challenge. It's not a see how fast you can get through it, even though you guys really want to get through it. But if you're not comfortable with this event, pace yourself. Find a beat when it comes to the sprint drag carry, or the drag. Find a beat to keep you moving. It can be as slow or methodical as possible, and you'll still be able to make your time. Actually, that's the only thing you can do from my perspective, from my own personal experience. And then I believe you have the plank, which is a Deshun's lifestyle. You have to do around 1 minute 30 to pass. And I think that's for everybody. But for me, it was 1:30. I did it in 2 minutes, 15 seconds. I wanted to push myself. And then after that, you have the 2-mile run. And like I said at the beginning of this portion, that is your resiliency portion. You worked out your arms, you worked out your core, you worked out your legs. Now it's trying to figure out, are you going to complete this last thing? How confident are you going to be? How much in your mind is it going to like set you back? Just to say. From some of the people that I ran with, they keep on saying, and this is actually true, when you feel yourself being tired for the 2-mile run, keep running it. Keep running as much as you can. Don't slow it down, because the moment you slow down, your legs are going to start locking up, and your legs are just going to, it's just going to feel a little bit worse, to the point where you're just going, okay, I gotta walk. you walk and you just keep walking until you start realizing that your time is going. The time goes by faster when you're not running. Me, I tell myself, just do it so you don't have to worry about anything else. Like, once it's done, it's done. This pain sucks right now, but you gotta just get past it. This is what I tell myself all the time. And I run every single day. The people on the next day who haven't been called, they have to go through it, and then you have to help set up. And throughout that time, after the ACFT has been ran, if you fail, you have been cut from all accommodation lists, and graduate, distinguished grad or distinguished honor grad. Did I say that right? All right, hold on. Let me rephrase that. If you fail the ACFT, you get cut from the commandant's list, you get cut from the honor grad, and you also get cut from the distinguished honor grad selections. Unfortunately, that happened to me because I failed the standing ball throw, or the standing power throw. It took me until I got to BLC to realize what kind of technique that works for me, because I was working at the time, didn't have that much training, didn't have that much of a technique down. I could do everything else, but I would always get lucky at the standing power throw. Was not a good look for me. I didn't like it, and I just said, it is what it is, and I got another shot at it, and I passed. So there's only one person that left because of the ACFT, but we also had people leave because of they couldn't pass height and weight, and then there was also people who were pretty much bad-mouthing and talking back to the small group leaders, or what we call SGLs. And then there was one which I think was really weird because they kicked him off because I guess they couldn't understand him because his Hispanic accent was just so rough. So it was a little bit hard for people to understand him. Now I kind of understand. When they're going to lead somebody, they have to understand what you're saying. They can't, and everything's just going to be foobar from that point. But at the same time, I kind of wish they kind of gave him a little bit more benefit of the doubt, because he wasn't that bad of a leader. You just didn't understand him a good portion of the time. But you're here to train leaders, and if they don't make requirements, then sorry, you have to come back in a couple months. Now for me, it was really stressful, but the only stressful portions of these 3 weeks were the writing, which apparently everyone says I do great in. I don't see it. I see me just writing mush all the time. But evidently, it was pretty good writing because I didn't get no C's or no D's. Everything's pretty much been an A or a B. Now, you'll be talking a lot about sexual harassment. You'll be talking a lot of equal opportunity within the first few days of the first week. You'll also be going about learning your platoon that you got put in. Not just your platoon leaders, because you'll be swapping out platoon leaders, company leaders, guide-ons, who else? And as well as team leaders for each squad in that platoon. Unfortunately, I didn't get sent on one of those groups, but it was good to see what they were doing, what were they messing up on, what were they doing right on, and then at some portions you also had to march your troops to chow. Now for some people, they didn't have a problem with it, others kind of fumbled, but thankfully we had people to lean on for guidance. And like what people would tell you, and it's correct, these SGLs, they don't try to psych you out. They don't try to see that you fail. They're actually here to help you, because they know that once their time is gone, you're going to be in those responsibilities, and you're going to have to lead the new Army, or the new National Guard, or Army Reserve, or whatever your component or military service is. And the reason I say service is because you're going to have people from the Air Force, you're going to have people from Marines, you're also going to have people from Coast Guard, which is what we have. And the reason why I say services, because you're also going to have people from different branches in that class with you, probably. It's a rare occasion for for us, we had that rare occasion for a Coast Guard member to come in. And man, he blended in really well. Like, take away his uniform, you would think he's one of us. He knew how to exceed expectations when it came to the 7 Army values, but he was on it, man. And I was glad that he was in our group, or our platoon rather. And I think out of all the platoons that we had in that company, my platoon pretty much was top tier. Even though we didn't win some of the major competitions, when it came to camaraderie, when it came to helping each other out, I have to say we were the best. Now, so for some of the writing assignments that you guys have, you're gonna have one about sharp. They'll give you a topic on that one. For us, it was talking about why are the cases increasing so much in the military if we have all this stuff set up. The other one's going to be pretty much a compare and contrast. If it's not going to be the compare and contrast, it's going to be the informative essay, which is they're going to give you a topic, or you choose your topic that you want, and that was going to be the longest one you have to do. It's around 750 words to about 1125 words, and they'll say probably name a number between 1 and 25, and then whatever number you say, they'll already have one written down for that number, and that's what you'll have. And when it comes to the presentation, you'll have 8 to 10 minutes to make a PowerPoint on what you did for your essay, but this is going to be a quick 8 to 10 minute presentation on how you expanded on your essay. So for me, it was the fundamentals of leadership, or the foundation of leadership. So the way I kind of broke it down was thinking of us as soldiers. We tend to be like machines, We receive an order, we follow the order, and I can't really remember all I did for it, but I kind of had euphemisms or analogies describing different parts of the computer and how it also resembles parts of the human body. And I kind of mixed it in, and they liked it. Everyone enjoyed it, especially some of the people that we had that were observing our class from Ghana. Unfortunately, for some reason, I was the longest one in the class. You couldn't go below 8 to 10 minutes, and you couldn't go above 8 to 10 minutes. Otherwise, you'll kind of get docked a couple of points. Man, I went to 16. But here's the funny thing. When I was with my platoon, some of my members at the late stages of the night, we went to the classroom and we helped each other improve upon our presentations. I couldn't get above 8 minutes. And yet here I am 2 days later, and I'm busting out half of what I'm supposed to be talking about, or half the time I'm supposed to be talking. You'll also learn some things regarding BMI, body mass index, but I think that's only going to be for Florida because it's the only one that's actually certified in that department. And now I'll be in charge of pretty much doing measurements, height and weight, taping, make sure that the tape measure is calibrated, didn't even know that was a thing. And so I'll be able to help out all my soldiers, and I'll kind of, from the book that I'm reading, I'm probably going to try and help them with different types of ways of, losing weight or finding ways to gain weight. Not that experienced in it, but, one thing I like about being in the military, it kind of makes you get out of your comfort zone and learn new things that you wouldn't even think you would even understand. Okay, what else do we have to do for graduation? So with the 3 essays, there was the ACFT, and then there was the, I almost forgot, the compare and contrast essay. It's probably going to go about a certain class you're going to have, talking about different types of leaderships, and then you're going to compare and contrast those. And that's going to be an easy one, about 250 words. And you'll also be certified for ACFT, how to set up, how to make sure that the lanes are in order, make sure what is acceptable and what's not acceptable when dealing with certain events. as well as, I do believe, conducting individual training, which is kind of like how you did for the essay. Pick a number between 1 or whatever highest number that they have, and whatever number you picked, that's going to be what they've assigned you for. And so for mine, it was to teach a class on how to practice good light, noise, and litter discipline. And they didn't really give you a time on how long it's supposed to be, but just to make sure that you're following the guidelines and making sure that everyone gets a turn and finding out what they're doing good on, what they're doing wrong on. Bring it back to your SGL, let them know how many you've had taught, how many have just been trained, and how many have actually passed. And it's it goes a little bit more extensive, but not too extensive where you're gonna fail or not know what you're having to do. And I do believe that's it. I kind of want to just get off a little bit of some insider information. One thing I would say that you would probably want to do before going there is to recite the Army song, recite the Soldier's Creed, as well as knowing the Creed of the Non-Commissioned Officer, and it's going to help you out immensely. Some people are going to try and ask you outside the platoon, what is the NCL Creed? What is the Soldier's Creed? What's the Army song? And I want to make sure that you guys are way ahead of the game, as well as kind of looking up stuff about SHARP, what the program is, what it consists of, kind of doing a small little deep dive into that information, so you'll kind of have some more info going into that. So because it's not always going to be the same topic, just like every kind of bit of training is going to be different from different locations. Also, I have to say this: train, work out. Even if you're trying just running a mile a day, run a mile a day. Do some push-ups, do some sit-ups. If you can't do sit-ups, do some crunches, get some weights, kind of bulk yourself up a little bit. Even if it's just a little bit, it will go a long way, trust me. And also make sure that you're staying hydrated throughout the entirety of the course, because you never know who's gonna mess up, and then everybody got to go outside for a small little smoking session. Didn't happen to us, thank God. Also, whenever you guys get assignments, stick to that one assignment first until its completion. Otherwise, you're going to work on something, you're going to go to something that just got appointed, because every single day you're going to get more and more assignments. So it's important to get that thing done the day of. And if you have to stay up a little bit like I did, especially for that informative essay, do it. Because you're going to be very stressed out trying to figure out what do you need to do for this next assignment while you're still worrying about that assignment. So, let's see what else. Yeah, because there was a lot of shit. There was a lot of shit. Oh, another one is eat right. They'll give you a lot of stuff. They're not going to be watching you and your food, this eating decision making skills or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm having a stroke up here. They're not going to be reviewing or looking at the choices that you pick to eat food. But just know that when it comes to doing the morning exercises or your training, because I almost forgot, another thing you're going to be doing, you're going to be going over different types of exercises. So you can either be in charge of the MMDs, those military movement drills, or you're going to be doing the endurance drills, as well as the preparation drills and the recovery drills. If you don't know what those are, I will have a link in the description of a U.S. Center or Military Center of Wealth and Fitness. That's not the right or actual name for it, but it will be in the description below, just so you guys can understand what you're going to be getting into, and this is going to pretty much help you. Now, you don't have to explain what it is, because y'all will be doing it a couple of days before you're going to be examined or tested on it. but just know that there's going to be a certain bit of guidelines. So I would also say when you're doing the stretches, making sure that it is between 20 to 30 seconds. The way you can actually know how you're going to be going and meeting that time, if it says 20, go for 25. So that way the person that's testing you, they'll say, okay, they're in that margin of time where they have to do it. And also, it's going to be verbatim. You can't just go on one exercise, finish it, skip over one because you forgot it, and then you just remember what you had to do, and then you go back to it. No, they're still going to dock you for that. But most of these exams are really hard to fail. Now, I don't want y'all to think that it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but at the same time, it's not going to be very, very difficult. Just stay on top of every single assignment. Also, ask questions. Doesn't matter how stupid you think that question might be, ask it. And as well as giving answers, because you don't know. And I have experience from this. A lot of answers that I was thinking in my mind, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to say that because that might not be the right answer. Someone raised their hand and they said the exact same thing I was thinking. It's because I second guessed myself. Don't do that. Even if it's wrong, just say it. Because even though it might be wrong, it might be close to that answer. Because you're going to hear a lot of, yeah, that actually you're close, but you know, I want that specific word. So you're not right, but you're not wrong. And that's the kind of positive reinforcement that I like that most SGLs give, because you know that you're kind of there at that precipice of getting the right answer, or you're knowing what you're talking about, and then either the SGL or one of your other battle buddies is going to be there to help assist you in that. And that's what everyone is there for. They're there to graduate. They're there to help each other out. So don't think that you're the only one that's going through this. So I think that's about all I can talk about, just because I can't remember anything else. If you guys want me to do a little bit more of a deep dive of what we went over, then by all means, let me know in the comment section below. I noticed that I got 8 more subscribers because of that short that I just uploaded. Man, you guys, oh shit. Y'all don't let up. But man, I appreciate it. Some of y'all, like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all said some things that, you know, it got to me a little bit, but at the same time, I know it's true. That's my company. I know what I'm rocking with. But I have to say, I wouldn't choose any other company than the one I have right now. Because when it comes to getting shit done in our state and getting shipped out and helping other states, bro, I can't speak for everybody else's company and regimental support group. But when it comes to the 201st, whoo, we bring the heat and we bring it all, man. So big ups for Georgia National Guard, for every single MOS that's out there. Go hard, go guard. That's all I gotta say. And yeah, I'll be going back to my original channel, Warzone 157, and posting some more gaming content. But whatever you guys want me to talk about, or whatever you guys want to see me react to, military or non-military, let me know, and I'll get it to you guys quick, fast, in a hurry. And as always, my name is Nicholas Dennis. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.